CGC Sports Illustrated. My name is Jim. This is a little bit of a different video because I'm going to spend it all talking about pricing on the high end of the market. So obviously this is time sensitive. Today's October 1st, 2021. And this started about 6 months ago, but man, the last month, what we've seen is a dramatic uptick in prices for premium high-end graded Sports Illustrated issues. Interestingly enough, there's actually been a softening in the market in the mid-level and low-end stuff if prices have kind of dipped. But I'm going to walk you through this because I think it's real important. You know, keep in mind, this is still a very young, growing hobby, and it's a small group of people. So you're going to kind of see these wild price swings from time to time. But I think it's really healthy for the hobby. When you can see the high-end premium prices skyrocket like we've seen over the last few months, it's really healthy for the hobby. Let's start with this one. You recognize this. This is the very first Sports Illustrated issue from August 1954. It's got Eddie Matthews on the cover. It's graded at 9.8. There's a lot of these out there. I mean, a lot. I think there's upwards. We're getting close to 100, I think, of these graded at 9.8. But that's clearly not stopping the demand and the pricing increase of this. So I would say about a year ago, if you were to look, summer of 2020, early fall of 2020, you pretty much could have picked these up regularly for around $3,000. And the price moved steadily higher. I'd say at the end of 2020, early 2021, these were about $5,000. But as you can see here, this sold on May 7th, 2021 for $11,100. At the time, that was a record price for a public graded Sports Illustrated sale. That's a massive jump from about a year ago, $3,000. It's almost gone up 4 times in the last year. I mean, we're bumping up against a four times increase in the last year. Now, again, these are all really high-end premium pieces. I'm talking about modern issues that are 9.4 plus, vintage issues that are, pop 1 of 1, none higher, or certainly high grades of 8.0 and higher. Now, it's interesting to note a little bit of softening in this, which is to be expected. I mean, we went from $3,000 a year ago to over $11,000 in May. This one sold September 25th, 2021, $8,700. So still almost a 3 times increase from a year ago, but you're starting to see this kind of become the new standard. And I'll show you a couple of more examples. It seems like that $10,000 barrier, clearly it's been broken, but it's become the new standard for ultra high-end premium products. And I'll show you some more of those examples here. Another one was this Patrick Mahomes. I was blown away by this price. You could have picked this one up probably for about $3,000 in August. I mean, we're talking about a month ago. This issue could be picked up for $3,000. This is Patrick Mahomes' first cover from 2019. It is graded at 9.8. There's about a dozen of these graded at 9.8, which for a modern issue, that's a high number. But again, it's going to show that regardless of the population counts, if I have a first cover, a ultra premium issue, and it's graded 9.8, high population counts are not deterring prices. So you can see this sold on September 25th, 2021 for $10,800. Certainly easily the highest price paid for a modern issue, and points to really strong signs for our hobby. Let's take a look at a couple more. Again, this one was in September. Roberto Clemente, again, super collectible. This one graded at 9.0. It's a pop 1 of 1, none higher. It's from 1967. It's his first cover. And it is, from all of my research, the highest public price ever for a graded Sports Illustrated issue. Again, this sold in September, $11,499. Another big vintage issue that popped. Joe Namath. This is his first Sports Illustrated cover. This is from 1965. I believe this is how he got his name, Broadway Joe, because you've got that picture of him on Broadway in New York City. This is graded at 8.5. It is a pop 1 of 1, none higher, sold for right at $10,000. Again, this happened in September. These all happened really in just the last few weeks. So there's been a really kind of a frenzy of buying at the ultra high end level. Couple more I want to take a look at that are really important too. Again, this was another September sale. This is a Sports Illustrated issue from 1964. So the first Sports Illustrated issue came out in 1954. The first year Sports Illustrated came out. Then there was an issue, a swimsuit issue in 55. They skipped 56, and then they had one in 57. But then there wasn't another Sports Illustrated issue until 1964. So you've kind of got these two categories. This issue is the first Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue when they started doing it annually. So a little bit of a caveat there, and some history on Sports Illustrated issues. But this one's graded an 8.5. It's not a pop one of one. There's two higher, but this one still sold for $3,600. And again, this is a recent sale in just the last couple of weeks. So again, we're seeing high-end premium pieces. If they're pop one of one vintage, they're getting the big dollar amounts. If they're close to, only a couple higher than that, we're seeing some pretty steep prices paid for those as well. Michael Jordan's first Sports Illustrated issue in 1983. This is a terrible photo on this picture. I'm sorry you can't see it very well there, but this is his first Sports Illustrated issue from 1983. This is graded at a 6.5. Best offer was accepted. I believe I checked out the details. I think this one ended up selling for $2,500. Again, premium pieces. This isn't a high grade by any means. There's a lot of these graded, but it's Michael Jordan, and it's his first Sports Illustrated cover. It doesn't matter what grade it is. This issue is a premium piece in any grade, and it sold for a significant amount. And we saw this. We saw a couple 7s and 7.5 sell in that $3,000 to $4,000 range. So that's kind of the new standard for the first Michael Jordan issue. This is a really interesting one. This is a pop one of one, none higher. I talked about this on my latest podcast. Michael Jordan issue from 1998. The Last Stand issue with he and Scottie Pippen on there. I believe this was sold, the best offer accepted was around $2,300. So again, most Jordan 9.8s, if they weren't his first 5 issues, most of the Jordan 9.8s in the last year were selling for about $1,000, maybe $1,250 or something like that. So we've seen about a double price increase in a non-premium Jordan issue. He's got a lot of covers. He's got 50 of them, but graded at 9.8 makes it a premium issue. This one I thought was really interesting. So this is a run-of-the-mill Dan Marino issue. I mean, Dan Marino's a superstar, but this isn't his first cover. This isn't his second or his third or his fourth cover. This is from September 12th, 1994. It is graded at a 9.8. I think this is a pop one of one, none higher. Again, sold in September of this year for $2,000. This is an issue that probably could have been picked up for around $750 to $500 a year ago. So big explosion in prices in the upper end. A couple more I want to look at here. Again, this isn't Joe Namath's first Sports Illustrated issue. Still a big superstar, highly collectible. This is October 9th, 1972. It is a pop one of one, none higher, graded at a 9.4. Good looking issue. I mean, you got Joe's face. He's wearing the helmet. You can see the Jets logo. Looks pretty good. $2,000 is what this one, again, sold for in September of this year. Bob Cousy, I looked this up. I think the best offer accepted was around $1,200. There's several graded higher. But again, vintage issue, big superstar, 8.0 and higher. That's where you're getting your premium prices right now. Talked about this on the podcast too. Again, full disclosure, this is one I sold. This is Hank Aaron's 715 issue from 1974, 8.5. Several of them graded higher, but again, it's above an 8. It's a premium issue. It's a big superstar. It's an iconic issue, and it's getting that premium price point. Muhammad Ali, good issue. It's a pop one of one, none higher. It's from 1967, so this isn't his first, second, third, fourth, or fifth issue, but it's Muhammad Ali. Pop one of one. And sold for $1,700. Really strong number there. Another swimsuit issue. Again, we're seeing the premium swimsuit issues garner a big price. So this is Christy Brinkley. This is not her first swimsuit issue. I think this is her third cover from 1981, but it is graded at a 9.4. I think the best offer on this taken was $1,000. So really strong price paid for that. Michael Jordan, again, this is a 7.5. This is his second cover, his Olympic cover from 1984. 7.5, not the best grade, but it's Michael Jordan, and it's his second cover. Best offer accepted was around $1,000 on that. Another Michael Jordan. Now, again, full disclosure, I always like to talk about when I own these. I own the Jordan Olympic issue. I own copies of the Christy Brinkley issue. I own another couple copies of the Hank Aaron 1974 issue. I do own some Patrick Mahomes first cover issues. I do own several copies of the first Sports Illustrated issue from 1954. Sorry for getting about that. And this one reminded me of it because I own this one at a 9.4 with only, which is a pop 1 of 2 with only one higher. This is a great looking one at 9.2 and sold for $1,300. Next one up. I thought this one was really interesting. This is a LeBron James from 05. This isn't his first cover. It's not his second cover. It's not his third cover. Now, it is an early cover from 2005, graded at a 9.6. Pop 1 of 1, none higher. Very solid. Sold for $1,200. Again, these sales all happened in September that we're looking at. Joe Montana's first cover from 1982. I can tell you, I did own the highest graded copy of this one at 9.6. I sold it earlier this year. I own several others that are at CGC being graded right now. This one sold for just around $1,000, graded at 9.0. Again, another sale in the last month. Interesting Wayne Gretzky. I have owned this one in the past. I don't own it now. Again, this isn't Wayne's first issue. It's not his second, third, or fourth issue. It's a good one from 1987. It's a 9.2. Sold for $1,200. And the last one we're looking at here, Ken Griffey Jr. This is his first Sports Illustrated issue from 1990, graded at 9.4. It's not the highest graded one out there, but again, it's sold for $1,000. So I wanted to do this because we've kind of had a paradigm shift in the ultra premium high end portion of this hobby. And the numbers have exploded over the last month. Like I said before, it's interesting. We've seen a softening in the mid-level and lower end pricing. So issues that maybe used to sell for $750, now more like $400 or $500. Issues that used to sell for $300 to $500 are going for more like $200 or $300. So, and I think that's because there's just becoming more slabs into the marketplace. So we're seeing a bit of a softening in prices on the low and middle end. But man, when it comes to the premium high-end stuff, there has been an explosion of pricing. It started about April or May of this year, and it's really taken off over the last month. I don't know if that continues. I don't know where it goes from here, but it's definitely been a major shift, and I wanted to get this information out and do a video about it because if you're in this hobby, it definitely affects what you do with your issues. What I'm finding that I'm doing, hanging on to some ultra premium high-end issues that I probably would have sold before because with these price increases, if they stay going up the way they are, things could still, be worth double or triple in a year or two from now. So it's very, very interesting. It's something I'll keep an eye on. Whenever I see huge paradigm shifts in pricing like this, I'll pop another video and give you guys the information. Do me a favor. If you like these videos, subscribe and comment here on YouTube. Subscribe to my podcast. It's CGC Sports Illustrated. Search for that anywhere you get podcasts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, eBay, Facebook. It's all the same everywhere. CGC Sports Illustrated. And you can email me at cgcsportsillustrated@gmail.com. And thanks for watching.